A dossier is a compendium of clinical and economic information that's submitted to payers. So reimbursement authorities in the US, those are like managed care health plans. And so they decide, should we include this product on the formulary? What should the tiering status be? And importantly, what would the coverage policies with the new product be? Outside the US could be a national health authority like the UK NICE or the German IQWiG. There's increasingly discussions about the importance of value in making decisions of whether or not to pay for a new drug product. And the dossier provides a unique opportunity to bring together the different components of value, the unmet need, the clinical information, the economic information, and basically make the case for value in one place. The dossier brings together all types of evidence that is relevant for a decision that those payers would make in coverage and reimbursement. So it includes clinical trials typically, includes pharmacoeconomic models, includes real-world evidence, includes a lot of information about the burden of disease and potentially an argument for the unmet need for the new therapy. So in the United States, the format of the dossier that's used is the Academy of Managed Care Pharmacy, or AMCP dossier. When developing an AMCP dossier, the typical timeline is about 9 months. So around the time of FDA filing, there's an initial phase of project planning and research that will include targeted literature reviews that support most of the sections of the dossier. The second phase of the project is drafting the individual dossier sections. So after about 6 or 7 months, you should have a rough draft of the dossier. The final stage is anchored on the expected FDA approval date. Ideally, you'd like to have a dossier available to respond and send out to payers within a couple of weeks of FDA approval. Outside the US, there are typically national health authorities that are involved in the decision-making process. And the version of the dossier that is created to support those submissions outside the US is called a global value dossier or a core value dossier. In a global value dossier, you could have much more information about the clinical studies. So the GVD tends to be larger, more comprehensive, and reflects the different perspectives of national health systems across the world. The process usually takes quite a bit longer, something on the order of 1.5 years to develop a global value dossier versus maybe 9 months for a US AMCP dossier. As you get close to expected regulatory approval, there is preparation of the submissions and for each individual country. So country adaptations often are done with a coordination with lots of different affiliates from across the world and helping them to prepare their submissions and get the information they need to obtain reimbursement. How do you decide what is most relevant to payers in a way that isn't being selective or cherry picking just the positive results? So I think the answer to that is transparency about what is included and excluded. So you don't need to summarize every single study for a product that has dozens of studies, but you need to list all of them and focus on those that you think are most relevant for the payer's decision making. So a really good dossier is one that is comprehensive, is fairly balanced. So ideally, it's a synthesis that is more than the sum of its parts.